Well, good morning or good afternoon, depending on where you are, and even good evening to those people that are in Europe. And I just want to take a moment and let's see who joins in here so that I can take a moment and welcome all of you. All right, let's give it just a minute, and I'm going to go into the Flip the Switch community to make sure that we are rocking and rolling in there, and we are. So as I'm seeing a few people join, go ahead and drop your name. Well, your name would come up, but drop where you're tuning in from in the comments. I love to go back and make sure that I'm answering the comments within the Flip the Switch community. Sometimes I'm able to do it when I have a guest while I'm on our training, but oftentimes it's just right after that I will go back. So I see some, let's see, I see Norway, I see UK. All right, welcome, welcome. This is so exciting. I really have missed doing some trainings. And although my goal is to interview top industry leaders, bringing the best of the best to you on a monthly basis, I will be filling in on Wednesdays doing some random trainings. And this week, we're going to be focused on how to open a recruiting conversation confidently so that you can really get the results that you're looking for, whether the person ends up joining you or whether they don't, that you know how to go into a recruiting conversation kind of like with your own toolbox, with your arsenal, so that unlike me when I first started, you can feel confident. I know I'm going to share a story in just a minute, but gosh, I want to welcome those of you that are joining in. I see Detroit. I see Jeff and Mary from Arizona. I see Maui, Hawaii. Look at this. We're all over the globe. So I want to get started, but in true Joan and Theater Lowdown fashion, I'm going to draw an Ignite the Light card. So those of you that are tuned in, obviously hang with me. We're going to get right started with the training. And those of you that are watching the replay, go ahead and drop in where you're tuning in from as well, because I will, again, be chewing up these comments, going back through and making sure that I answer all of the questions and different things. So here we go. Here's our card for today. Well, isn't this an interesting one? I will look for the good qualities in people. So let me read that. I will resist the urge to focus on people's shortcomings. I know that we all have opportunities to improve, and most people are doing the best they can with the tools that they have. Today, I will make an effort to show people that I see their good qualities. Flip the switch from seeing shortcomings to seeing the good in people, and notice what you pay attention to. This is card number 10. For those of you that have never received my cards or got my cards, that's probably a better way to say it, go to joanrobison.com/shop where you can get 60 cards empowering you to flip the switch and really go from fear to love, problem to solution, but just giving you that 60-second boom, switching your energy. Speaking of energy, I want to talk a little bit about that. Many of us have heard things like, it's really important to have a recruiting mindset, or, make sure you're really positive when you're talking to that prospect. Here's the deal, guys. I want you to know that whatever you are feeling in here is what you're projecting on an energetic level. And I don't want to go too into this at a high level and go into the science and all that. But what I do want to share is that I want to give you just a simple tool. Claiming today, present. So maybe if you've got your pen, you've got paper, you're going to be taking some notes. craft out 3 to 5 I am statements that maybe I am a recruiting magnet. I am a leader that attracts people to me by way of service. I am an incredible sponsor. So we need to claim who we are. And I believe one of the best ways to do that is through a service mindset, because the opposite of serving someone is needing someone. And you don't ever want to go into the recruiting process needing a recruit. You want to go into it with, I have an incredible opportunity to share, and there are potential people out there that need this opportunity to fulfill their needs, desires, and wants. How many of you can relate to that? Give me a heart in the comments if you can relate to what I just said. All right. As we continue to move through today, I want to give you just an overview. We are going to take a deeper dive into really how to have that confidence when you're opening a recruiting chat. And I think what I'd like to do is show you a few different things that I do that have resulted in making connections and deciphering where somebody wants to go fairly quickly. And by the way, this doesn't always end up with somebody signing up today or tomorrow to your team, but it can. And when I say that, the reason why I brought that up is because there's many times where maybe the timing isn't right. Maybe the person isn't in that great of a need at that moment, but having these conversations are what ultimately create this connection and then makes it so that you are their go-to person. All right. And it really does have to do with the blend, write this down, of heart and head. Now, I want you to think about that. Your heart is you openly caring for people and being sincerely and genuinely interested in them. If you're not interested in helping people, you know what, guys? I just find the door and go do something different, because this business, this industry, sales in general, are about you serving people and fulfilling their needs and wants. If you can't do that and you just want to make a sale, make fast money, grab the next shiny bright object, which, I mean, come on, let's be honest. We all probably want those things. But what I'm trying to say is this needs to start here within your heart. And when it does start there, I'm going to guarantee you are going to feel differently about the process. I know this because I've been in both places. I can remember back needing, watch me use that word, a couple recruits to go on a high-end exclusive trip with one of the companies I was with. And I got in that like fear-based panic mode because let's say the requirement, I can't remember, but let's say that the requirement was 20 and I had 18 and I needed 2 more, within the next week or something like that. Well, I became in the fear base, like, what if it doesn't happen? Which is something that we definitely don't want to go to, but that's the human part of us. The idea and part of what I'm going to give you is how to flip the switch, how to get out of that so that you don't stay stuck there and that doesn't dictate your results. So I want you to think about this for a minute. If you're in the place of I need, you become, and just hear me, I don't want any emails. You don't need to write anything nasty in the comments, but just hear me. If I need, I'm a taker, right? I'm a taker. That's really what it is. It's that feeling too. Focus on the feeling. It's huge. The next thing is, if I'm of service, what am I? I am a giver. So this is what is so vitally important, is that we get into a service mindset, a mindset of giving. I'm going to give you some of my time. I'm going to give you everything that I can through my own experience. I'm going to give you whatever it is that that person needs to support them to uncover if this business is right for them. And what I would say is that many times in this process, when I was feeling uncomfortable, I had to really evaluate my feelings and get honest with myself. And when I was honest with myself, it was because I was in some kind of fear-based place. I was worried about what people were going to think. And usually that's because I didn't have the confidence with the right words. I didn't know where to start, which we're going to go over that today. Or like I said, I really did need a recruit in order to meet a requirement. So even if you need to meet a requirement, I still am going to show you how to stay in that service mindset. So how many of you have, and I want you to drop a heart in the comments if you've ever felt like this. So how many of you have ever felt unsure of what to say when your prospect has shown interest? Okay, so they've shown interest and you aren't really sure what to say because you don't know where to really start. How many of you have ever felt that way? Drop a little heart down there. I want to see who that is. Okay. Come on, get these hearts going. Darn it. Okay, I see one. All right. Keep rolling because I want to know. All right. And then the next question I want to ask you is how many of you have ever felt like you don't want to be pushy, salesy, or come across like you're trying to convince someone to join you? How many of you? Give me a thumbs up if you don't want to feel like that. Give me a thumbs up. All right. So this is what I remember. When I joined my first network marketing business, I remember being excited about the opportunity and really, the potential of what it was going to bring me. And yet I remember having a few people interested and I thought, oh my gosh, I'm really not sure what to say. Where do I start? And I needed a guide. And I'm going to share with you a guide, a 4-step guide that I use and that I've trained for multiples of years. I've enhanced it as times change, as social medias, become our main primary focus, etc. So this is what I teach and this works. So first thing I want to do is I want you to know that I've been talking about this mistake that 99% of all network marketers make. And they start with this particular question. And I'm going to reveal that, so just keep hanging with me. But I think it's going to surprise you because I know I even caught myself a couple of weeks ago. I said that and I went, oh my gosh. And then I was able to refocus my energy onto what I really was looking for. So let's start first with a quick review of my 5 steps to the recruiting process. Recruiting is a process and there is a methodology to it. And like I said, your head is your skills, right? And your heart is your emotion and your empathy and your care for people. And we're going to learn more and more in the Flip the Switch community to combine those to serve more people. And that's really ultimately what we're doing. We're building a team so that we can have more people doing what we do, helping more people worldwide, depending on your company, nationwide, and ultimately get paid handsomely for that. The people that learn and master recruiting skills, they go to the tops of the comp plan. It's part of what it takes. All right, so let's review these 5 steps. So pens and papers, number 1 is we're creating interest. And I'm going to speak specifically to social media today. All right, so creating interest has to do with either an engagement post, a curiosity post, and let me give you an example of those things. My preference, the way I'm training, is do not mention your company's name. It's not because you're trying to be sneaky. It's because you want people to ask questions. All right. So if you have a limiting belief that, oh, I'm going to put it all out there because I want to give my people all the information, that's your first limiting belief that's holding you back from getting more of what you want. Okay. You want to give people a little bit, because the idea is to make a connection and start a conversation. And by the way, if you're not doing three-way chats in Messenger, you ought to be. And that is where you are edifying other people within your team to share their stories, not convince people to recruit, to share their stories so that people can hear from more than just you or me. All right. So the first step, like I said, write this down, is engagement and curiosity posts. And I want to make one comment because I've been working with several leaders and teams. And by the way, if you need support or help, book a strategy session with me, and I will share with you what I'm able to do for you and your team, or just you, in a strategy call with me. And my link is right down below there. So one of the things that I've been doing is training people how to really use their lifestyle, even if you just started the business, to create a business post. One of the things I've noticed with the people that I work with is most of the people aren't generating enough interest around the business. It always seems that people tend to generate more interest around their products and those benefits, but they're a little more gun shy around the business. If that's you, give me a thumbs up in the comments. It's most people. And until we can get confident enough to share the benefits of how our business has impacted our life, we probably won't recruit, or you definitely won't recruit at the level that you are capable of. All right. So creating interest, the engagement post, step one. Step two is set a time to chat. Now, many of you have ATM groups. It's where you add them to a group, tag them in a video, and then message them. And that's great. Keep doing it. But don't underestimate the power of getting on the phone and having a recruiting chat. There isn't anybody in here too busy to not have a chat with another human being. And if you are, then I suggest you look at your priorities. Because if I'm joining a team, a company, a person, I want to talk to them. Okay. You can have them watch the video. You can do all those things. But get on the phone. So set a time to talk. Okay. Third thing, presenting the opportunity. And in just a minute, I'm going to share screen and I'm going to show you my appointment Foursquare. And you can follow these 4 steps. You can begin at the connecting piece and get prompted. And you'll see how this conversation will not only flow, but will get you in an efficient amount of time to the result that you want. And that's what we're looking for. Okay. Step 4 is to invite objections. And step 5 is crush the close, guide to a decision, whichever you want to call it. I call it guide to a decision, but in some trainings, I call it crush the close. So those are the 5 steps. Now, I'm going to go ahead and answer the 99% of what all people do in the recruiting conversation, or I rather should say how they open the conversation and why it feels so awkward. Are you guys ready? I need a drum roll. Okay. Here's the deal. Most people, and it's because of a lack of knowledge, they're trying to be kind and they get on the phone and they go like this, or they get in Messenger or wherever. Okay. It doesn't really matter, but they go like this. Hey, Karen, it's, great to chat with you. And, thanks for showing interest in my business. So, ready? What questions do you have? Guys, That's the deadly mistake that nearly every network marketer has made at one point or another in their business. Now, is that horrible? What questions do you have? It's not a horrible question, and it's actually open-ended. So, they could come back with a lot of things, but what I want to show you guys is that's actually step 4. That's inviting objections. And if you're inviting objections first cracker out of the box, you're missing all of the other 3 components that build on each other. Okay, so you might be going, all right, Joan, then where do you start? And I'm going to show you right now. So let me share a screen. I don't do this often, but I think I can do this. Let me just double check. Hold tight while I pull this up. I hope this won't make me lose you guys. Hold tight here. Okay. All right, here we go. No. Window. Oh, come on. Just a second, guys. Give me 1 minute. Hold tight. Hold tight. Oh, come on. I just tried this. Hang on. Hold tight. 1 more minute. Well, all right. Well, I'm going to just have to show you here. So, unfortunately, I guess I'm not very good at this shared screen business. So, let's do this. I am going to just show you right here, and we'll walk through it. So just get your pens and papers. The first step is to connect. So when you're opening a recruiting conversation, chances are the majority of you have already made a post. And the way I like to look at that is the post is you talking to the world. It's saying, here's my lifestyle, because of my business, I get to do this. And it can be whatever it is that you are doing in your life. That's part of your story. That's part of what makes the business attractive to people. People are watching you, whether they're commenting, liking, and loving. But the truth is they're watching you at all times throughout the day. So 2, 3, 4 times a week, depending on how much you want to serve, and help others, I'm going to assume that you'll want to be posting about your business with an engagement post, with a curiosity post, with a lifestyle post, something about you and a story that connects them to saying, you know what? I want what she's having. Not like Meg Ryan in the movie. Remember when Harry met Sally? No, but I want that business. I want those same results. I want to travel. I want to have free time with my kids. I want to go on that ultimate vacation, right? Okay. So now you've gotten an appointment and you're now, let's say, connecting on a Zoom or maybe a phone call, and maybe you're doing 15, 20 minutes. First thing, gosh, Karen, it was so good, to chat with you. I'm glad you liked the video, blah, 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 blah. How's things been going? Okay, so I'm talking nothing about the business at this point. I just want to know about Karen. Okay, smart recruiters, also go take a look at the past 3 or 4 posts on her profile, wherever it is, Instagram, Facebook. Why? Because you want to know what she is doing. All right? And you want to come to the call prepared. It will impress her. Okay, so now I would start talking about, gosh, so what was it within my post that attracted you? And you might already know this because maybe you've already had some conversation, but you might not. And you might also begin talking about if you were, I use a lot of possibility word choices. If you were to do a business like this, what would be most important to you? What's most important for you and your family? Okay. What was it that got you thinking that this could be a potential business for you? All right. So I have several business questions here that you can, rattle off to her that are going to give you the information that you need to go to the next step. The next thing that I like to talk about is, again, if you were to do a business like this, how much time would you be able to invest on a daily basis, on a weekly basis? What kind of money would you like to make? It's our jobs to uncover their needs and wants using open-ended questions. This, guys, is how you start an effective recruiting conversation. I'm not talking about if they join or not. It doesn't matter. Every conversation needs to start with you focused in your servant heart mindset, servant heart, the whole thing, right? Mindset on them and what their needs are. All right. The next step in this conversation is your company's success plan, or I like to say to somebody, would you like me to share with you how to get started? Okay. That way, they're understanding what the next steps are. And again, you can continue to use that possibility language. If you were to do a business like this, if I could show you a way to do this, and you felt comfortable, blah, 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 right? So possibility language. Let's say, Jill, if you were to do this, let me share with you what the most successful people do. So there's 3 or 4 different ways that you can tell somebody what the next steps are without telling them what they need to do. All right. So at this point in this step, you want to share your company's success program. You might want to share how they could earn their kit back. You also might want to share a little brief overview of maybe 1 or 2 ways that they can make money in the comp plan. Do not send the entire comp plan. I see people sending packets out still. It's like dinosaur days. And guess what? Nobody has time to read them. They don't read them. They just want you to boil the fat off the bone. And remember, this is a 15 or 20-minute conversation tops. So you don't want to give the whole kit and caboodle. It will overwhelm them. And I've made that mistake before myself. All right. So we might share the benefits of how somebody gets paid. So think about what are maybe the top 3 highlights of what you might want to share in order to really give somebody a taste of the benefits of your company. All right. Then step 3 within this process. Look what it says here. What questions do you have? Now, this is the time where I say, after I found out what they want, what's most important to them, what their availability is, what their potential goals and income desires are, and after I've shared about my company's plan. And by the way, guys, I'll drop the link to this. I have the Ultimate Recruiting Conversation all ready for you. Some of you might have already gotten it, but some of you may not. So I'm going to drop that link shortly at the end. So common objections, my 3-step process, and then I'm really not a salesperson and I don't want to be pushy, some of the top ones, and I personally work through those for you down there. And then last is guide to a decision. Now, I have seen so many people do all of the steps really great. And then they give their power away by going like this. Okay, Karen. Well, just let me know what you're thinking. And, gosh, I don't want to be pushy and I don't want to rush you. Guys, those kinds of things are really telling them pushy, rush you. You don't say those kinds of things and expect a positive outcome. You also don't give your power away, putting the ball in Karen's court to get back to you. That's a huge mistake, and people do it all the time. In fact, here's one other mistake people make is they go like this. Let me know, blah, 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 blah. Let me know what you're thinking. Let me know when you want to talk again. Let me know if this is right for you. Let me know. No, we don't do that. Sorry, I'm kind of becoming all-knowing here right now, but I think you're getting the drift. All right, so here are some things that you can ask at the very end. First off, if you're not sure where the person's at, like you're kind of like, gosh, I really have no idea. They haven't given me a lot of indicators. They're not showing a lot of emotion. They're just kind of nodding, yes, no, I get it. So sometimes I want to do what they call a test close. And I'll want to say something like, on a scale of 1 to 10, 1 being you wouldn't do this if wild horses were dragging you to it. And then 10 being you're ready to go today. Where are you at in the process? Okay. This kind of question will let you know more about where they are. So let's say they say they're a 7. 7 meaning, okay, that's pretty good, isn't it? Yeah. So if they're at a 7, then I might ask them, gosh, what makes you be at a 7? Maybe they'll tell me, or I could say, what is it between a 7 and 10 that you need to sort out? Or I could say, what is it between the 7 and 10 that may be holding you back? All right. So that's a way to test close that. Another way would be, what is it that you liked best that you heard today? Another question is, what resonated most with you? One that I use often, because I do feel like I ask a lot of questions throughout the process, will be, you tell me, Karen, where would you like to go from here? And let me tell you what, Karen will tell you. She'll say, well, you know what? I want to get started right away. Or this sounds great. What are the next steps? She also might say something like, I want to sleep on it and I'll get back to you tomorrow. Now, let me explain something. Again, I'm giving you a lot today, guys. This is good stuff. I hope you're tagging your teams in this, getting them in here to watch it, because if I had this kind of training when I first started my business, when I was in the middle of my business, and I'm refreshing myself right now by training you, I would be thrilled, because I didn't have all this stuff. This is through years of, trial and error, culmination of experience, and through serving others that I can even write this stuff. So something else that happens is Karen says she's going to get back to me tomorrow morning. Okay. Now, the mistake that inexperienced recruiters can make is they go, okay, Karen, sounds great. And then they wait and they call their upline and they're like, well, she said she's going to get back to me tomorrow. And then if you were me, I'd say, what time did you set that appointment for? Okay. Now, that's not to say that you're bad, you're all wrong, but remember what I mentioned earlier about staying in your power. There's nothing worse than getting off a recruiting conversation wondering, are they going to sign up? When are they going to sign up? Is it today? Is it next week? And it occupies all this energy that, quite frankly, you want to move on and feel like that part of the conversation was sealed, right? Like we're complete there. So how do you do that? let's say she says, I want to sleep on it. Great. Now, I'm the kind of person, I'm going to honor what they want. So I'm going to say, what time tomorrow morning is best for you? We can set a time to chat and then go over with what you're thinking, or set a time to chat so that we can talk more about your progress, or I don't even know if I'm saying that right, but you get where I'm going. Okay, we want to set a time for that follow-up conversation. Okay, so get it on the calendar. People will treat you like you have a business and it's not some little hobby or side hustle when you act like you've got one and like you're serious and like their time and your time is valuable, because everybody is still today and every day always wanting more time. Is that not true? It's true. All right. So the last thing I'm going to share with you is it's another possibility. So let's say that there is the objection of, it could be I'm really not a salesperson. Okay. So these are really, I think this is a great way to share that. Let's say that you've went over that, but you can still tell she's a little bit tentative. So I might say something like, Karen, if I could show you the simple training program that we have and partner with you to move through that, would you want to join today? Simple. Some of the questions and some of the responses just take practice. But what I can assure you is if you do these things, you're going to get better and better at the recruiting process. And ultimately, the no's, they'll just roll off your back like water off a duck. All right, so let me give you 3 action steps. So the first thing is review the notes that you took within the next 24 hours. The second thing is practice, practice, practice. And the only way you're going to get good at it is by booking appointments. And the third thing is grab the link below in the Ultimate Recruiting Conversation so that you can have all the tips, the word choices, and the guide to actually have a recruiting conversation that works. So have a fantastic rest of your Wednesday, everybody. Thank you all for joining in. Thank you for being part of the community. And I have some really special news coming up very soon in the next couple weeks. We've got Tanya Eliza, who is going to be sharing here on the Leader Lowdown about really how to monetize your social media. And you're going to love this training. It's amazing. She's amazing. And so are you. Have a beautiful rest of your Wednesday. Bye, everyone.